Noon, good evening, good morning, whatever those time of the day that you may be tuning into me. Um, Greetings. Um, it's so good to have you, and often uh, I use this time when we get to together once a week. I do the same thing every in the USA. It's Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern time, and but I suppose if my friend Wayne Forrest is tuning me in New Zealand, he's 18 hours ahead. So he's tomorrow in the morning. So that's why I say I love when I hear about the experiences of everybody has across the world. But the reason of course, I call it the Stroke Folk Show because I often tell you about things to do with strokes. I had strokes, two strokes over 15 years ago. Maybe you had one recently. Maybe you had one 25 years ago. Or maybe there's someone you love that had a stroke, or maybe you give them care. But we'll welcome. And um, often, um, I want to tell you a little bit. I still do. I will eventually get back to interviewing guests, but uh, when I was getting ready for publishing my first book, which is Stroke Survivors First Aid Kit, uh, almost a year and like another week, um, and um, and so I wasn't focusing on this, and I wanted to tell everybody about it. So I've been doing that, and then I got the brainstorm that I could um, make word search books again, just like I did soon I was in the recovery. But I have completed volume one, which is uh, of course, a word search for stroke recovery book. The first one is easiest, we say, but it wasn't easy at all when I was trying to uh, reconnect things. Then the second volume, which is almost in about a week, um, then it goes uh, adds another level of difficulty, and then volume three has the hardest of the three. But I thought I would put those out because maybe you would need another word search book to do. So, and after that, I'm going to have some crossword puzzles about stroke recovery. So it's exciting. But back to this. I called it stroke survivors because I didn't really know anything else but to call myself by the label stroke survivor. And around that time, I realized there were other words that better described me and my journey. And so um, I realized that stroke thriver is the way to go with. And since then, I've commissioned to uh, design T-shirts and everything, hats, whatever you want to put the issues on. But this one, for example, is Never Stop Fighting Stroke Thriver Awareness. And I decided I'm going to make them because when we read it in print or when someone wears it, it is an opportunity to make them more aware of stroke and stroke issues. And and so I hope you will agree. So if you want to get check out my books, you can go tinyurl.com/stroke stroke-books, or if you want to check out the designs, you can go in your broadcast, in your man, I'm just not getting it. You can put in your browser tinyurl.com/stroke-designs. Oh man, this is crazy. I lots of things, as you know, we always do lots of things at the same time, which we shouldn't do. Anyways, this time I'm going to focus on breakthroughs in the medical profession. And there's three that I've heard of lately that I thought were worth putting out there and talking about them. So really, it shifts how we treat strokes or how we prevent strokes in the years ahead, of course. And my mission is to eradicate blood clot strokes forever. It's crazy, I know. It seems impossible, but I believe that's how we make change. We start by doing something which seems impossible, and sometimes it doesn't. Like, for example, if you told me people 100 years ago they would talk into a box and the other person they would talk to would live across the world, halfway over the world, they would think you're crazy. And in Jesus's time, there's a lot of things now that would you would be a madman or a madwoman. They would assume that you were could be locked up. So that's what I mean. Start crazy, but what would we love this world if it were different? So about 6 months ago, I had the mindset or the mind burp. I had the idea, wow, yes, I'm going to go for this because I think if it would mean we would do things differently, there'd be like 110 million people around the world that would not be dealing with the side effects of or the aftermath of a stroke or strokes. And that's just an example, because blood clot strokes account for about 70% of strokes out there. And so anyways, I keep that in my mind when I read about different things. So I've got this one news feed. It summarizes all the latest and greatest in science and technology. But the first it told me about was a surgeon in Florida removed a blood clot in Scotland remotely, meaning he was here. Scotland, they had a cadaver or dead body, which had a blood clot in it, and they had the surgeon perform it's called a thrombectomy, which means remove a thrombus or remove a clot. And he did it. He's in Florida. The body is in Scotland, and he removes the clot. That's mind-boggling. But in about 2 to 3 years, they will have it perfected, and it will be approved. But someday, specialists will remove clot removal procedures in small towns, rural hospitals, or anywhere that doesn't have a neurointerventional specialist on site. And that's huge. So for stroke care, where every minute counts, that's massive. This is the early days, but it will reshape emergency stroke treatment. In the first, the window, which they say in blood clot strokes, if we can get it in about 4, maybe pushes it 6 hours after it happened, they can do something. They can either give him or her an injection of a blood clot remover or dissolver, or they can go in and surgically remove the clot. It's huge. And most of them, or let's say at least 2/3 of them, it's like they never had a stroke. One man in my church, about 6 weeks ago, he had a stroke, and about 3 hours from here, there happened to be a doctor in the restaurant where he was. They triaged him or checked him out. They shipped him out to a local hospital, which was ready for him, and he was given an injection. And basically, over the next hour, his signs all went away, and he's fine now. But in him is the passion to help me change this world. So that's the first. Maybe I will just tell you other things, but all right. Number 2, new American Heart Association and the American Stroke Association guidelines changed, and they basically updated its stroke prevention guidelines, and they just like I do, they have tied about 8 parameters or items. So they said stroke prevention directly goes with lifelong brain health and focusing on what they call life's essential aid. So we're talking about we can monitor every single day our sleep quality, that's 1, glucose control, that's 2, physical activity, that's 3, blood pressure, 4, 5, they put cholesterol, which I don't agree at all, but diet, body weight, and avoiding tobacco. And I predict they will say avoiding smoking, whatever we do, either it's marijuana or tobacco, because I think the marijuana will be basically like what tobacco was 10 years ago when we finally decided we were going to ban it in the U.S. I suspect they're going to do that with marijuana when we smoke it. So anyways, it's this powerful way of treating brain health, and it goes a long way to eradicating blood clot strokes. So please, if you know that you are skirting health in one of those ways or all those ways, please get help and start to change. That's so important. And number 3, this was it's called a new trial, says less is more for some stroke patients. So this came out of Japan. It was a trial, and the doctors who had a blood clot stroke, or a TIA, which is a transient ischemic accident, which just means mini stroke. And also they have a heart condition called atrial fibrillation, which means it's beating fast, which is a common cause of clots. So for years, many patients who were put both on an anticoagulant and an antiplatelet, thinking it would offer extra protection. But this study showed that using both those compounds actually increased bleeding risk without giving any extra benefits. So this could change how clinicians or your doctor treat blood stroke patients with atrial fibrillation worldwide. If this research leads to changing guidelines, many patients actually will be safer with fewer medications, not more. You boy, it's crazy, but it's true. So I'm one of the things I do is I always keep my eye on what's in the new and coming news. And for example, there's another one in there was about um, uh, research project, which was looking at, this is crazy, looking at the brain, and they had found that they could transcribe what the person was thinking or feeling with about 50% accuracy. And normal, that would be about 1%, which they say is chance. That's just an example for aphasia people like me. Um, um, if I that's how I feel that sometime soon the medical profession will have a breakthrough, and I and others in the stroke community will be healed. So, anyways, it's crazy. So these are just three developments that I'm keeping a close eye on. What, but when we push the boundaries of technology or science, it reshapes how we think about for prevention or treatment. And one may actually simplify treatment for millions of people. That's one thing I've learned after having the strokes. It's the progress in this field that matters. So it gives hope, it gives options, and it gives all of us more tools to protect the people we love or ourselves. So if you want me to cover more breakthroughs like this, tell me. Put it below in the comments, and it's a way that I can give you. I give back, and I hope it helps. So remember, to your success.